Hi, I'm Brandon. Welcome to my channel. I've been wanting to get back into booktube, so here's my attempt at trying to get back into it, I guess. But first of all, if you hear banging and noise in the background, I do apologize. The kitchen is being renovated, so looking forward to 2 whole months without a kitchen. Yeah, I love living back home. Okay, so sorry. Basically, I want to get back into booktube, so here I am trying to get back into it. I thought I'd start with a reading vlog, a weekly reading vlog. I have 3 books that I am going to try and read this week. The first book I'm going to try and finish today because I think I have like 100 and something pages left. A Reaper at the Gates by Saba Tahir. This is the 3rd book in the Ember in the Ashes series. I recently reread An Ember in the Ashes, and then I continued on with A Torch Against the Night, probably within the last few months. And I'm enjoying the series so far. I don't entirely love it, but like, it's weird. My brain is like, I'm constantly thinking about these books whenever I'm not reading it, but like while I'm reading it, I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. There's nothing like really standing out to me. And then my hold just came in for The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, so I'm hoping I can read this and finish it this week. I've been going through about 2 books a week so far this year, which is pretty good for me, I will say. Oh my goodness, he's so needy. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so I think, you know, if I finish A Reaper at the Gates, I can probably finish this one this week as well. Do you think I can finish it? Yeah, he thinks so. So I'm gonna try and prioritize because I've put it on hold so many times and I've borrowed it and then I've just not gotten to it, and then I put it back on hold, and it's just, it's a problem. And I think it's because I'm so intimidated by this book because I don't read a lot of adult fantasy, so that's a bit scary for me, which I'm trying to get more into it because the adult fantasy that I've read, I've enjoyed. So I want to try to get more into it, but I am like scared a little bit of this book. I really don't know why. The next book I'm going to try to read this week is Escaping from Houdini. This is going to be on the back burner because these books I can read really quickly. So a little explanation about this book. Also, I didn't explain anything about The Poppy War, but I feel like most of the books I'm reading, I think most people have read. But The Poppy War is like a really intense adult fantasy about like war. That's all I've got, so there you go. And then Escaping from Houdini is the 3rd book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Carrie Maniscalco. I always thought I was never going to read this series because I was like, it doesn't seem like me. I guess it was more like the plot lines. I didn't think the plot lines would be for me. You know, this series has always been talked about for its romance, and so I'm just like not a big romance girly. I like romance, but I don't want romance to be like a big piece of a story. I want it to be a subplot, if that makes sense. I was like, I don't think this series will be for me because everyone talks about the romance in it. Well, I was so wrong. I just finished Hunting Prince Dracula last week, maybe the week before, I don't remember, but I finished it. Wow, in love. I loved it. It was great. 4 stars, both of them. Both Stalking Jack the Ripper and Hunting Prince Dracula have been 4 stars. I finished A Reaper at the Gates earlier and I ended up giving it 4 stars. I did like this one better than I liked the first 2 books. I did enjoy the first 2 books, but I think this one had a lot more, not a lot more, but a little bit more going on in terms of plot. A bit of a spoiler, but this one, like, the war actually starts. So it sounds like actually starts. This is the 3rd book. There's only 1 book left, but the war starts in this one, so you get more. I'm sorry, there's people walking outside my window and I'm like, ugh, awkward. Okay, back to what I was saying. So this one, the war starts in this one, so there's a lot more happening. There's a lot more, I guess, deception and I don't know, confusion, because, you know, a lot of the characters, it's a multi-POV book, so a lot of characters don't know what's happening with other characters. You as the reader do because you're seeing the different perspectives, but not everyone, not all the characters know. So sometimes it's confusing because you're like, didn't that just happen? Then you're like, wait, Right. They don't know that. And I will also say this was like a critique I had for the first two books, and it's still a critique I have for this one. The passage of time is confusing to me because, again, this is a spoiler. Basically, in this one, you find out at like the beginning of this book that Helene's sister is pregnant. And by the end of the book, the baby is born. And like it's a full 9 months. But it always seems really weird to me because I'm okay with a 9-month passage of time in one book. But it seemed like Helene's timeline was moving so much faster than Laya's and Elias's that I was confused because, you know, they'd be like, oh, a month has gone by. And then you switch to Helene's perspective and it's like 5 months has gone by. And you're like, so were they all happening at different time periods? Because it doesn't make sense, because sometimes when they do cross over, I'm like, wasn't it a month ago in that timeline and 4 months ago in that timeline? It's just, it kind of is confusing to me. I'm just kind of rolling with it though. Like, I really, like, it bugs me, but I like move on real quick because I'm like, whatever, time has gone. Time has happened. Things have happened. So I just kind of accept it. But yeah, finished this book, one book down, day one of the vlog. I mean, I was mostly done with this book anyways, but now it's official. This morning, I don't know if you can hear my cat, sorry about that, but this morning, I was gonna read The Poppy War before work, or start to read it, and I was having issues with the audiobook, so I couldn't. So I started Escaping from Houdini. I am on page 109, and so far, like, it's still good, but I'm not loving this one as much as I've loved the others. I particularly loved Hunting Prince Dracula. That one was very good. This one, though, I was expecting, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but if it is, you can skip ahead. But I was expecting the mystery to take place in America, not on the boat. And so far it's on the boat. So that's confusing to me. I don't know why. It's just like I had something else in my head and now it's different. So, you know, trying to get into that. It's still fun. It's good. I'm enjoying it. I'm excited to kind of see how Houdini and the mask guy play out. Whoever the Midnight or Moonlight Carnival ring master or whatever is, I don't freaking know his name, but I'm intrigued to see like or learn more about his character. This is like totally sidebar and like nothing related to reading, but I started The Walking Dead. I never watched it when it was originally coming out, so I started watching it maybe a year or two ago for the first time, and I was obsessed. I fully thought I would hate it because I was like, zombies, boring, and like my friends in high school were really big fans of it, but I was like, it's not me. I mean, I was wrong. Here I am today, but yeah. So I started watching The Walking Dead a few years ago and I was obsessed, and I got up to like season 6 or 7. I don't remember, and then I stopped for a bit. Well, I decided I want to go back because I saw a clip on TikTok and I was like, I should go back. Thanks, TikTok. And so I started watching it again. I'm on season 9 now, I think. So I don't know how many seasons there are. I think there's 11, so I'm pretty close to the end of the show. But I know there's like a spin-off or 2, so don't know about that. But I'm really enjoying it. Season 7, did not love. Also, if anyone's seen The Walking Dead, season 7 is when they introduce Negan, and I just don't care. I know everyone finds Jeffrey Dean Morgan sexy, but he kind of looks like my dad, so I don't really like that. So yeah, I didn't really like Negan. I still don't really like Negan. He got a lot, the plot got a lot better in season 8, I think, and I'm only on like episode 2 or 3 of season 9, so I couldn't tell you anything about that. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Totally unrelated to reading, but it's something that I've been doing, so I thought I'd share. quick update. So I did start the Poppy War this morning. I finally figured out the audiobook. I don't know what the problem was, but it's fixed, so that's good. I'm on page 105, and so far I'm enjoying this, but I kind of don't really know how I feel. I feel like this is going to be one of those books where I don't have very articulate thoughts until maybe the end. It's good. I'm enjoying it. I like Rin as a character. She's done a few things where I'm like, but like, that's fine. She's three-dimensional. I was really pulled in from the first chapter. Also, this is really side note, but I don't like long chapters in books, and this book has really long chapters. And to me, I just don't understand it. Clearly, if you're putting like additional spaces between this section and that section, they should be different chapters. Is that just me? Or like, I can understand some stanzas. It's like, it makes sense for them to be paired together, so they shouldn't be in separate chapters. But when you have that big separation, like 4 or 5 different times, it should be a different chapter. That's just a me thing. I'm so sorry, but I don't love that. But going back to what I was saying, I liked that you got to know more about Rin's backstory before like her actually going to the school. I think that is something important for her character, and I know you could always do like flashbacks or whatever, but I think that it was really important to kind of establish that from the get-go so that there's room to expand and grow and you understand it all the way through. First few chapters I think I really loved, because I've read 5 chapters, and I think chapter 5 is kind of where I'm starting to get a little on. Not like in a bad way. I'm enjoying it. I promise. I just like don't know how I feel. Granted, I was getting ready for work this morning when I was listening to that chapter, so I might have missed a few things, which I really shouldn't be doing, because I feel like this book is going to be something where I need to pay attention, but I did, so we're there. So it's time for me to wrap up the vlog. So I unfortunately didn't finish either the Poppy War or Escaping from Houdini. I wish I had finished at least one of them this week, but I'm starting to get into a reading slump, and I think that's because of the Poppy War. So I haven't really updated in a little while, just because I've had a lot of meetings this week and work was kind of crazy, so I just haven't felt like updating. But I do want to talk about some of my thoughts for the Poppy War. I'm not enjoying it, and I'm really disappointed about it. I think something that I'm struggling with is maybe I'm not paying enough attention to it. I read before I go to work in the morning, so I typically read about an hour to an hour and a half. It kind of depends on my day. So that's when I do all my reading. I don't read at night. I'm not a night reader. I work during the day, so I can't read. So I typically just read in the morning. And granted, I might not be fully awake when I read, but I don't typically have issues with that. Like, there's only 1 or 2 books I can maybe think of that I feel might have been impacted because I read it in the morning, but I think those books I just didn't like, and I think this might be in the same boat as those. But yeah, I think because I read in the morning, I might not fully comprehend or digest or, whatever the book I'm reading. I'm just gonna kind of say that's the reason I'm not enjoying this book right now. I don't think that's 100% true, but I don't want to not read the book. So I'm going to soft DNF it right now. I got up to page 337, so I got pretty far, but I just don't want to keep reading and end up disliking it. I think I might like this book. I just don't think right now is the right time for me to read it. I'm a big mood reader, so that could be why. And, I might reread the book down the line or finally finish the book down the line and still have the same feelings. I have no idea. So I'm just going to soft DNF it for now, and I will come back to it when I'm ready. Unfortunately, I am soft DNFing the Poppy War. After that first day of reading Escaping from Houdini, I haven't picked it up since because my priority has been the Poppy War. So I really don't have any new reading updates other than the soft DNF, so I'm just going to close out the video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in another one.